Are you looking to level up your author business?
Are you pounding your head against a wall, wondering what your next step should be? Then join me, Daniel Wilcox.
And me, Sacha Black, as we haul ass each week in a bid to level up.
Level up!
Come along for the ride as we delve deep into the business of writing,
Craft,
entrepreneurship,
and every level of the author journey. This is the Next Level Author podcast.
Hello, Achievers. This is episode 71 of the Next Level Author podcast, a podcast where we hold each other to account and track our step-by-step progress as we level up our author businesses. My name is Sacha Black, and here with me every single week is...
Sacha Black. So I'd have fun with it.
Okay. How are you, darling? How was your week?
I'm good. I've had a good week. I've had a good week.
You mean you haven't had a weird week? Is this the first week
I'm
ever
wearing a
where we
t-shirt and
haven't had a
everything,
weird week? Oh yeah, you are.
I know. Yeah. No, it's been. I don't know. It's again always the weeks just seem to go quite quickly, but it's the second week that I've had my son for the school holidays, and I've just kind of let myself relax a bit and chill and read, and I'm still doing bits of work in between, but I've minimized a lot of what I'm doing. So I've been working on when winter comes edits, and actually I edited 11,000 words yesterday, and that's did an early sprint, did my 2 boot camps, 11,000 words. Don't know how I did it, but it's just been nice because of him. There's been some of the client work and things I've had to do. So I have made a mental note to actually look ahead to other holidays and things and make sure that I'm adjusting my work accordingly. So I'm not overburdened by, daddy responsibilities as well as work. But we've had lots of fun. We went to a wildlife park on Monday, and it's this tiny little place in southern Cambridgeshire. And it was cheap, but they had some really cool animals there. And it was really, really well handled, because I was really worried about going to a attraction of that kind because of obviously COVID and population numbers and everything. But they handled it really well. It was a place called Shepworth Wildlife Park. And you basically have to book in to obviously make sure that they can accommodate everyone. Different parts, if you go into the nocturnal house, where I'll get to this bit in a minute, this is the definition of irony. But you have to book to certain things to make sure that there's not too many people in certain enclosed parts at a time. And I never once felt too crowded or concerned about being around lots of people. And they had red pandas, they had tigers, they had like scorpions and tarantulas. That was fun. But the ironic part was that when you went into the nocturnal house, they had this enclosure that had bats, and it was about, 40, 50 foot long, about maybe 20 foot wide. And all the bats were just flying free around you. And you had to obviously wear your mask and things indoors. And they were adamant that kids had to wear their mask indoors because they didn't want to give the bats coronavirus.
Are you kidding me?
They figured out. Nope.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't want the bats to get COVID. And I'm like,
wow.
Irony.
Okay.
But it was so cool though, because you literally just walking through this walkway, and these bats will just circle near you, and they'll be about a foot away from you. Their wingspan probably, about 2-3 feet long, just soaring past you. And my little boy was a little bit concerned. So he ended up hugging his auntie's leg, but it was just really, really cool. There were like 30 bats in there just sort of flying around in this red light haze. And I enjoyed it a lot.
Sounds fun to me, which is probably,
well.
And then, go on.
And then Tuesday, you and your sprog.
Oh no, you didn't, did you?
Mm-hmm.
You did. We did see each other. And then you little cheeky monkey, took a picture of my office in my throne.
Yeah, I did. That was fun.
Yeah.
I can't remember where you were at that point, but I thought, why not? It's a very comfortable chair. I don't think I've actually sat in it until that point.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's comfy for like lounging in. I'm not entirely sure it's the best chair for working in. I have to say, I'm not sure my back is appreciating it that much, but it is so on brand that how am I supposed to ever get rid of it? I'm just gonna have to put up with it. So good week then, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was fun. How was your week?
Interesting. Weird, because I had to try not to work, which was really hard. Oh, that was interesting. I don't know. I find it really difficult when I'm still at home to take time off, because home is where I work, which is not great. But that is where we're at. And I find it much easier to relax. Like, I relax immediately if we go away. And because we can't do that, like, I win at relaxing when we go on holiday. Like, I'm not even joking. I am like the fucking queen of relaxing when we go away.
Melt into a puddle.
Yeah, literally. Like, my brain turns off. I read 1,000 books. Like, I'm present. I'm fun. All of the things that I'm not the rest of the time. And so I will be honest, I found it really hard to disconnect this week. Also, because it's the first week, and next week I'm hoping I find it slightly easier to disconnect. But also, it has reminded me that I actually derive a lot of pleasure from my job. And so it's also difficult not to do your job when you enjoy your job, I think.
Yeah.
So I have tried to do like one thing a day, and that's it, just because I think my achiever would have a paddy if I didn't, especially because we're at home and there are things that need sorting and fixing and dealing with. So yeah, I'm not validating the fact that I'm not trying to justify the fact that like I've kept my computer on, but also I've been out. Like, yesterday we went to a castle, Monday we went to the cinema together, Tuesday we had a play date with someone, Wednesday we went and did loads of Pokemon Go, like walked for ages, and then we went and had a nice little lunch. I dropped my books at a bookstore. Like, that was my one thing that day. Yeah, so I mean, I am trying to have time off, but it's hard. It is hard to have time off when you're still at home.
Yeah, and it is. It's when, like you say, work is home and home is work, but also when you do enjoy the thing that you do. So I think it's different when you're at work and you have to deal with all of the laborious admin stuff that is just killer, and then you pile that on top of everything else project-wise that you're trying to do. But I mean, on I can't remember when I had a week when I was basically saying, like, you can still allow yourself to do the fun stuff, because the fun stuff is recharge. So if I take a week off and I'm suddenly inspired to like write a thing, then go ahead and do play. I think it's hard to say take the week off, and because I enjoy writing and what I do so much, if I take that week off, when I used to take weeks off, it used to be, okay, now I can write and do some fun stuff. So what do I fill that gap with if I can't do the thing that has become work? So I think a lot of that is sort of just finding those boundaries in your head and working out what isn't okay to recharge.
Well, it's funny you say that, because this is why I need the time off and the headspace, because that should be what I'm doing, and it's not. One, because I'm exhausted, and that's fine, but also because I have so much shit still in my inbox, and like things that I've promised people and things that I said I would do. And it's not that I don't want to do them, but it's that I want to do writing more, and I'm not wording enough. And so, like, one of the things when I come back in the middle of August that I really need to do, and like, I genuinely feel like, and this is really hard for me to say this, I might need your help. But I do need to write more words, like, consistently. I need to be more consistent with writing words. And I'm not saying I need to write every day, because I just don't think I'm that sort of a person, but I need to write more than what I'm writing now. And part of that is because I've just come off 6 weeks of back-to-back marketing, but also because I feel like I should still be producing words even when I am doing marketing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I need to look at my strengths and realize that might not be the case. But then if that isn't the case, I need to be producing more words when I am writing, if that makes sense. So I don't know.
Build the systems.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that essentially.
I think the fun part about this kind of job is that everything's a choice. But then the really annoying part about this job is that everything's a choice.
I know exactly. I know exactly what you were going to say. And I completely agree. Okay, level up of the week.
Level up. We go to Charlotte Wyatt, who says, I leveled up this month with my first publication. My short story now has a home in a fantasy anthology and future goals seem more attainable than ever. Love it.
That
the
is
first
really
one's
cool.
One of the biggest ones.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's
okay,
wicked.
We have a new patron, Arabelle. So thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be having an extra long patron session. I'm just opening my calendar. I can't remember when it is. It is this month, isn't it, Dan?
It is on Wednesday, the 25th of August.
Oh, it's a late one.
At 8 p.m.
Okay. Okay, cool. So thank you, everyone. And we shall see you all on the 28th, 5th? 25th.
Yes. And welcome.
Coffee. And if you are not a patron, but you would like to join us in our very intimate NLA live Q&A sessions, then you can by visiting patreon.com/next level authors. And also just a note on that, our failed week session, although I seem to have blanked out me failing. What did I fail?
Oh, so many things. I'm not going to go into them now.
I don't feel like I failed recently.
No, you did.
Did I?
We both, I can't remember what it was. We both did one week and then I did the subsequent week. But yeah, we're doing our live drinkathon in person. Well, me and you are in person. We're not like inviting everyone around to our house to get smashed, but on what day is that one?
13th.
Friday the 13th, which is totes appropriate. That's next week. I am going over to Sacha's with a bottle of whiskey. Sacha's going to be having whatever she drinks, and then we're going to have a few tipples, get onto a Zoom call. Well, not a Zoom call. We haven't figured out how we're going to do it, but we're basically going live into the Facebook group. Patrons are going to get priority questions to ask us whatever they like, and Facebook commenters will also get a chance to have their questions answered as well.
Are we going to recruit questions in advance?
I think so.
Okay,
yeah, but also nothing is off limits, but we also reserve the right to say no to answering certain questions, because
that's when you drink.
Because we're drunk.
That's when you drink.
Just because we're drunk doesn't mean you could take advantage of us.
Look at you all worried. I have nothing to hide.
I'll be fine. I'm good when I'm drunk.
I think you're the opposite of good when you're drunk.
No, I'm good. I just get very opinionated.
Amazing. Okay, notices. Do we have any notices?
Self-Publishing Blueprint is still available for purchase. So if you want to get your hands on a book that gives you the entire overview of how to self-publish a book, from creating your idea all the way through to publishing and the basics of marketing, then you can head over to either my website, danielwilcox.com, or grab it from pretty much any store it's available. It's there and it's pretty, and there's hardback and paperback and ebook.
And 8 Steps to Side Characters is still out. It is out and live everywhere, digitally, paperbacks. You can get signed copies from me direct on my website. Actually, you can even get digital copies from me on my website now. I am trying to push more people to my website because fuck the stores.
It just helps more strongly support you as the author and not let other businesses take the money that readers want to hand over for your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it is quite a significant difference as well, I will say.
It's frozen.
Like, you have frozen. It is quite a significant difference as well. It's like, I think we get closer to 90% of the royalty, whereas, obviously on Amazon, you get like 70% of the royalty. So yeah, it absolutely is much better for the author. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I'm going to add at this point. What have you enjoyed this week?
I'm going to say my son. It's been fun having like just a couple of weeks, just me and him, because also for long-term listeners to the show know that I currently live with my parents because I've been saving to buy the house. The house stuff is moving forward, which is exciting. but they own a caravan off on one of the coasts of the UK. So they've been there for 2 weeks. It's just been me and him, and it's just been nice. It's just been chill. Like, we've had some fun. We've gone on walks. We've gone to different things. And yeah, like I say, it's been a while since I've really signed off from a lot of work. Like, I've still had to do bits and pieces, but I've managed to do that in a way that works around him, and it's not like constantly at the forefront of my mind. So I've been able to actually give him dedicated, fun attention. And he's 6 going on 7, so he's now at the age where he just has a personality, and it's just fascinating to watch him to grow. So that's my thing. My boy.
Yeah. Well, I would probably say the play date on Tuesday, because they played so beautifully with each other. I still have his whatever this
Steve.
That's it, Steve Minecraft character. It's on my desk. I had to take it away from Atlas because I was like, you don't want to break it just in case, you know.
He was broken.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't. He was all right.
Oh.
No, I meant Bailey, not the figure.
Oh, yeah, no, but I really enjoyed them playing because they played so beautifully, and okay, they were really loud, but actually they didn't argue, and that is, I really love that when Atlas can share and play beautifully and not argue. So I thought that was nice.
They took a piece of cardboard, laid it flat, and then spent about half an hour pretending it was a swimming pool by actually just lying on their bellies and swimming on it. Like,
so cool. Oh,
I do that. I get thrown out of Asda.
Yes, that's because nobody wants to see you naked. Okay. Oh shit. Weekly confessional. I don't even know what I said I would do.
I do.
Oh God.
Sacha will think and rest.
Oh thank God, I did that. Oh, I did actually do both of those things as well. So that is really good. Yeah. I did rest, and I did think. I did like a brain dump, but that didn't really help. But that was thinking. And then I did a brainstorm session last night. And I think it's led me to my question today. So that's
interesting. That. Okay, I will outline phase 2 of the thing, which I did, and I sent over evidence to you. And edit 10,000 words of when winter comes. I think I edited about 15,000 words in the end.
Well done.
Yeah, it's growing as I'm editing, which is not unusual for me. So I'm now, the manuscript's turned into 140,000 word manuscript, and I'm about 40,000 words through. And ideally, I need to have finished all the edits by the end of next week. So I've got some reading to do this week.
Wow.
Like, there's some leeway to move around, but I'll because I've had kind of 2 weeks off, I'm fine just to go hardcore this week. I'm ready for it. I'm at that point where because I haven't been able to get to the desk, I'm now like itching to get back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Comments.
So last week's question, episode 70, was how do you deal with the post-launch crash? One of our lovely patrons, Cassie, says, yes, such a great episode. I love the honesty and the insight you each shared so authentically. I find some indies not wanting to share like that because there is an air of success they build around their brand, and it drives me mad. And if the real numbers show out they are afraid it will hurt their brand. If the real numbers show they are afraid it will hurt their brand. I also feel that the more honest you are with yourself, the better it is to manage expectations. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised over a complete disappointment. Post-launch crash for me is just consuming good reads and taking a break. That's good reads, 2 words. I get overwhelmed and I need time to breathe properly. Sometimes I'll dabble in new ideas, but a complete departure is needed for me. And then we add Alexa over in the Facebook group. I'm so glad you guys addressed this. I used to do amateur Muay Thai bouts, and afterwards I always had this massive crash and felt really blue. I was shocked when the same thing happened the first time I published a book, and wondered for a while if it was only me who got that feeling. These days, I like to have a quiet night in with my husband and maybe eat pizza and watch a movie rather than working like crazy all night on launch day. Pizza, just had me a pizza. Meg says, I'm like Dan, I just dive right into the next project. There can be no blues when you get to play with a new shiny, right? Otherwise, it's just a bit underwhelming. This is probably avoidance and not healthy, but I just don't know a better way to process it. And then Shane says, what plans am I putting in place to deal with the post-launch crash? Sleep, and more sleep. And then we had comments from Carrie, Victoria, Ara, and Edwin as well. So thank you everyone for getting those over. And again, I do, like, last week was one of one of my favorite episodes, just because I like those ones where it's sort of spontaneously very exciting and authentic. I think that it is probably one of our most valuable ones, just to share that first experience of publishing a book, because lots of first time authors will see all of the big names, all the big numbers, and think that like 1 or 2 books is going to get you there. And the reality is that it can, but it's still a slog.
Yeah. You're more of a lightning bolt if you, yeah, exactly. All right. So question of the week then. I hope we haven't asked this before. And if we have, I'll just make a note and I'll pick a different question. But how do you decide what to prioritize?
So I will start off by saying,
have we asked it before? I just want to make sure we haven't asked it before.
No, I don't think it's particular way.
Okay, cool.
No, I think for me, it changes depending on my situation. So when I was in full-time employment, the priority for me in the beginning was make good art. It was to write stuff that made me happy and to learn the craft. So all of the next projects were basically, for me, some kind of challenge or something that I really wanted to work towards or aspire to. So I started off with a novella, then I kind of looped in with short stories, and then I looked at novels and things. Once I had some sense of confidence in my craft, I then started to look a bit more commercial, because I wanted to get out of the day job and I wanted to write stuff that sold. And it still met the creating art thing, because I think way back then I didn't fully understand the scope of, what sells and what the market was. Obviously, like, that's a thing that you learn. But it was kind of that intermediary. But the next project, like, because I had lots of things I wanted to do. And for example, back in 2016, 2017, I wrote the pilot for a audio drama, because the Other Stories podcast was doing so well. And I was like, okay, let's do something where it's like an actual series, but in audio form. And I wrote the first episode to that, produced a pilot, had some really sort of decent actors in there. And then we went to kickstart the thing and it flopped. So I could have kept pushing on that, but as someone who was trying to replace my income with stuff that brought me more joy, I decided to let that one go, and I then moved on to the next project. And I started around that time getting into the different collaborations that I've done, and now I'm at the point where I have a goal in mind, which it's associated with the thing. I have a thing that I want to build in a direction in which I want to go. And so every project that I'm prioritizing basically has that in mind. Is it pushing me towards that thing? And I'm trying to be careful without giving too much away, but essentially it's all based around nonfiction. It's all based around authors. So that encompasses one side of stuff. And that's basically where a lot of my attention is at the minute, but that doesn't mean that I'm still not at the side chipping away with fiction projects, because in the long run I do still want to be producing fiction, because I feel like it's like vital to be a practicing author if you're then going to be like doing stuff with authors. So I kind of what I've spent a lot of time doing over the last few months is milling over, letting my brain percolate, writing down ideas, brainstorming. And I'm finally at the point in which last week my challenge was to finish phase 1 outline of the thing, and I've done that in such a way in that it dictates everything that I should be doing. So again, it comes back to that focusing that I said a few weeks ago, like follow one course until success, where I know what it is I want to achieve, I know the different projects and the tactics that get me there, and so I now have a map of how to do it. What is the difficult part at this point is that I'm very, very, I tend to dive into a lot of stuff very quickly. So I have all these grand ideas, And the old me would just start all of them at the same time and be like, and then I'll do this and try and like throw everything into the same box. But what I'm doing now is being much more deliberate with, okay, what can I get going efficiently, leave until it runs, and then make sure that works before I then move on to the next thing. And to make that choice of what to prioritize next, mostly for me, it's around income goals, but it's also based around reach and impact. Like something that I've learned in the last year specifically when sort of diving into all this nonfic stuff is you really need to focus on building that base. Like you can't just take people into because when you have your funnel, you have sort of like your free stuff that you give away that people like get to know you. So whether that's like reaching people through your podcast or through blogs or through, you know, different parts of the web. And then you kind of layer your different parts of you from sort of cheapest to most expensive. And you can't really make the big ticket items if you don't have people following through that funnel. So a lot of what I'm doing at the minute is based around the idea of building the audience, building the brand, and trying to serve as many people as I can in a way that it still supports my bottom line income that I need to hit. And then once that's established, it grows up from that. So I don't know. I feel like that kind of abstractly answers your question. But I don't know if it was what you were after.
I don't know what I was after.
What I have decided is bringing. So again, for me, I'm learning a lot about how hard I can focus on something and how much more rewarding it is for me just to do a thing until it's done.
Yeah.
And then do the next thing. Is pretty big for me at the minute. So I've still got 3 projects on the go right now. I've got a fiction, I've got a client, and I've got a non-fiction. But that's so much less than I originally did have.
Yeah, so it's so interesting because I have a lot of projects open, but I more or less only ever work on one. So like it was the side characters launch, but I was fiddling a bit in and around with like the audiobook and a bit of this and a bit of that. But the one that was on, the project I was working on was the launch. And like, I know the minute I come back, I've probably got 2 or 3 working days I need to focus on finishing the audiobook. So that will be the one thing that I do. So I feel like I am like, this goes back to V.E. Schwab and her hob stove analogy. I'm very much one of these authors that will have multiple open projects because I need that percolation. I need to think and do a little bit of work and write some notes down, but those projects aren't really the one that's boiling. It's not the one that I'm working on. So that's like I like I know when I come back, I am finishing that audiobook because it's the closest thing to done. And then I'm going to finish Trade because that's the next closest thing to done. But there's the other part of me that is really, I don't know, I'm cross with myself, I think, because I want to be producing more because this is now my new goal rather than the income goal. And I don't know, I just feel very confused still because like I want to produce more fiction. I'm cross I don't have more fiction. I've got 2 books that are virtually done that are just sat on my desk that could have been making money, you know, so I've got them. But then I also want to be producing courses and audiobooks and, you know, my patrons want a conference. So, but that is like weeks and weeks and weeks of work. Like I know when I used to produce the Alliance conferences, that was like 6 to 8 weeks out of my working month. 6 to 8 weeks. That's 6 to 8 weeks I could be writing books. But like I want to do the conference, but also I want to write books and I want to create courses and I want to do audiobooks and I want to write fiction and I want to do more things than I have the time to do. So
you need a team member.
Put in.
You need a team member.
A team member? What do you mean? What do you mean?
You need someone to lead and do the help you with the things in order to allow you to do those things. The amount of stuff that you want to do, it sounds like you need to start building a team of people that are actually going to help you do the thing. Because doing all of that as one person is monumental.
Mm.
And to scale, Rebel Author needs a team.
But I can't employ a team yet. I've got.
There are ways around it. Well, that sounds worse than I meant. Like, there are alternative ways to do so. Might be something we speak about
off air.
But
yeah, I don't know. I feel frustrated because there are so and I really am torn between the fiction and the non-fiction. And I know that I've got psychological shit that I'm trying to deal with in terms of the fiction, and I'm approaching crunch point where I have to open the damn book. I don't know. I just I know the fundamentals of prioritizing. I know it's, a toss up between what you want to do that makes your soul happy versus what's going to bring in cash versus I get all of that, but I still feel like, I don't know. I am rubbish this week at answering this question. I'm not answering this question. I'm basically rebelling against answering this question because yeah, I know, but I don't know. I'm just circling around in circles here. So this is not helpful to anybody. So we're going to have to move on.
I think, yeah. So the short answer for me, that I kind of, after a bit of thinking time, short answer for me is I work out what my goal is and I react accordingly. In the early days, it was work on my craft. So I would do different things to stretch my craft and to learn. And then as growth happened, it became a much more commercial income-based thing. It still has to meet I've learned this a lot. It still has to meet the things that I enjoy, but I have to really find that Venn diagram of stuff that I enjoy and stuff that brings in money. And then that's how I prioritize. I look at whatever the big project is and I go, is this working towards that goal?
Yeah, my goal is to produce more, but on both sides of the business, like fiction and non-fiction. And the problem is I love everything to do with non-fiction. I love it. I love my non-fiction business, but I also love writing fiction, And
that's the part you neglect.
Pardon? What's the part I neglect?
That's the part you neglect.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I'm unhappy. I need to readdress the balance. And I think, once I put out the next two fiction books, I will feel slightly happier. But also, because... Sorry, I'm just having epiphanies.
Oh, you'd frozen.
No, I know. Sorry, I realized what happened, but my brain, I just decided a decision about murdering magicians as well. Oh, there's a whole thing. Now I want to write even more. This is so annoying. I am, how a few weeks ago I was lost before I ramped up to do all of the launch stuff. I think the launch stuff distracted me and I'm still lost. And here we shall end the episode.
We shall have words.
We
shall have words.
Okay, so the question of the week for the audience is, how do you prioritize? How do you decide what to prioritize? Okay, so how are we leveling up our business this week? Y'all gonna edit 10,000 100 million billion words.
So
good luck with that.
I'm not saying that's going to be done by Friday morning. I'm not making that mistake. I will have edited 70% of the remaining words, which is 70,000 words.
Oh, mate, that is
Because I've also got to start a new client book this week as well.
A new what book? Ghostwritten book?
New client book.
Oh, a new client book. Wow. Okay. I am going to continue to rest. I don't know that I should...
on holiday.
I know. I don't feel like I should add anything else. I'm literally not going to add anything else. Look at me taking a chill.
Since this is coming out on Tuesday, remember to join us live Friday night, 8 p.m. UK in the Facebook group for lots of drunken antics. It's poison and pros, but with no pros. It's just poison.
Oh man, I am nervous. Okay. All right then. And we shall see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Hungry for more?
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can hear more of my angelic accent and Dan's dulcet tones on our other podcasts.
For more of me, check out the Great Writer Share podcast.
For more of me, listen to the Rebel Author podcast. We'll be back next week holding each other to account as Dan
and Sacha
become
Next level
authors.
Ginger, my beard is.
Yeah, you're looking a bit homeless, I'll be honest.
This is nothing. Yeah, I've got 6 weeks left of this. Minimum.
What if, I was going to say, what if you don't hit at the end of 6 weeks?
And I keep going. And fucking Wilcox.
Well, I hope you're trimming other areas of your life. That's all I have to say.
No comment.